Hey, Dr. Tim Turlop here with another 5 minutes to vitality. One of the things we're going to talk about for the next several of these video blogs is symptoms. Because so many times what we're finding in our patients is that we think that how we feel is always how we are. And nothing could be further from the truth. There's actually an old expression in healthcare which says, in physician care, where we actually say that symptoms are the worst barometer by which an individual can measure their health. And no words are further from the truth. How many of us haven't known somebody who was feeling great? We've heard the words or said the words ourselves. Steve was feeling great. I saw him that morning, and that afternoon, he was dead. Right? Or that we went to see a doctor and said, oh, the doctor said he felt great. Doctor said he was great, and look what happened. Tomorrow, he's dead. Right? And it felt great, but no longer here. Or a person who actually has a cold, common cold. Right, sniffles, fever, ache, earplugs, all the whole thing, right? And isn't really sick, just feels miserable, but the extent of the disease, not a big deal, be better in a few days, right? But it feels like we're very, very sick. And one of the things, the origin when it comes to disease, when we think about how we feel, we really don't want to measure how we are by that. And so symptoms are very, very superficial things. They're the first things to show up in a problem and the last things to go away. Well, if symptoms aren't that big of a deal, what do we focus on? How do we know if we're really well? What do we do? How do we get good expression of well-being? Well, what we're going to talk about in these next couple of video blogs is talking about the 5 pillars of health. The 5 pillars of health are proper neural tone, diet, exercise, sleep by contrast, and then also looking at what's sometimes called autosuggestion or attitude. Now, the first one we're going to look at today is neural control. Now, there's a thing that actually in healthcare, again, is called homeostasis. And homeostasis is just a very fancy word, meaning that the body moves from this direction to bring it back to center. Or if it goes this way, it brings it back to center. If I break a bone, the body moves to mend it. If I get a fever, my body actually creates the fever, it uses it for what it created it for, and then it gets rid of it. If I get an infection, my body will get rid of that. If I get stung by a bee, my body will work and get rid of that. If I get a cut, my body will mend that. It moves towards balance. If I'm exercising and my core temperature starts to go up, my body will do the things that are necessary to cool itself off. Great. So that's homeostasis, that the body's tendency to move towards balance and well-being. So that's pretty terrific. And in our office, we call it innate intelligence. The inborn, innate, intelligence, or the ability to organize of the body. Now, when you think about it, where does that come from? It comes from the nervous system. In the nervous system, if you look up at any dictionary, any encyclopedia, anywhere, will tell you it's the paramount system, the umbrella system over everything else. It runs the heart. The heart doesn't run the brain. It runs digestion. It runs blood pressure. It runs elimination. It runs cognition. It runs emotion. It runs everything. And if we can express proper neural tone, the body does what it needs to do. It's the controller. It's the coordinator of all functions in the body. There's an expression, actually, one of the medical dictionaries that every physician uses that says it controls every tissue, organ, and cell in the body. And if it's functioning 100% of the time, health is the result. Now, health not by how we feel and feeling great is one parameter, one component of good health, but it ain't good health. And that's really the distinction that we need to know. We want that nervous system working properly and functional. Well, in the next installment of this, we're going to talk a little bit about how that works very quickly, very easily, so it's simple to break down. The nervous system, even to this day, we actually, believe it or not, even in anatomy, are still finding new components. So we're learning every day more and more of how the higher functions of the body, its regulations, its control actually work. So we want to hit on that together and make sure we're looking at that the next time we get together. And I appreciate you joining me, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much.